Hey, what is going on, Unblinded? Thank you for jumping in on this beautiful Mastery Monday. Do want to recognize and apologize for the 6 minutes that I'm sure all of you were very patiently and actively waiting. So I'm super grateful that all of you are here. I am pumped, full of joy and excitement because it's Ecosystem Mastery Merger Monday. And outside of that, we've already blown up the day this morning at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., which is greatness. What's present for me at the moment, it is the level of ecosystem merging that is happening within our movement. Just out of curiosity, just in the chat, if you've merged with at least one person, because of Unblinded, let's drop a Y for yes in the chat. So if you've merged with at least one person, merged meaning had a conversation, a marketing meeting, maybe even a sales agreement formation meeting, let's drop a Y in the chat so that everyone could see like what's happening, what's becoming available, and more importantly, for those that are not dropping a Y and like loving fun energy, because that's my practice for this whole week is fun energy. What are you doing? In like the super high pitched tone of Mr. Callaghy, because that's like what we're here to do. The 10 by 10 is built to ecosystem merge, come together. I'm seeing Ys everywhere. There's some people saying soon, for whoever said soon can, let's all like message that person right now and begin that ecosystem merging, because this chat is just full of yeses and yeses and yeses. And that's what it looks like for everyone that's like, whoa, like there's a lot of energy. What's going on here? I'm a little confused. Welcome to the Unblinded Morning Huddle. My name's Fernando, one of the proud co-founders of this movement. And this is the #1 way to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. And Sean, dude, I just asked everyone in the chat if they've had any ecosystem mergers at all, or at least minimum of one because of Unblinded, to drop a Y in the chat. And we're currently at about 60-something notifications, yeses everywhere. And that's what's present, that's what's happening on Ecosystem Merger Monday. So Sean, what's happening?
Yeah, so listen, guys, sorry about the technical difficulty. So that, we will square that away. So our apologies. Yes, great job, everybody. So this is what I'd like to also see dropped in the chat, right? For you, who is your, on this Ecosystem Merger Monday, I want to get really granular because we just did it with the Mastery team, Mastery, everybody in Mastery. I don't like the word students. It doesn't land for me. The budding masters of the formula, right? The rising masters of the formula. And so for me, the question is, who is your optimal client? And I'd love to have Dimple. If Dimple is there, can we bring Dimple live, Fernando? She was just on that call and we were chatting. But I'd love to make this a more robust conversation.
Yes, can you say that name for me one more time?
Dimple, yeah.
Dimple, all right, so keep chatting. I'm gonna work to get her on here.
So, and just interrupt me when you have her. So yep, for everybody, the question is, when you think about, to me in the space of personal development, there is the challenge for like JP Sears does something I've mentioned it probably 5 times already, a really fun video on.
Hey, Sean, by the way, we got Dimple on, so just continue.
Awesome, yeah, I'll drop in 1 sec, Dimple. Of like competitive spirituality. So there could be like an insular nature, like an exclusive nature, even though we're feeling good about something, with who we're including in the conversation. And it can lead to like coaches talking to coaches, coaches talking to speakers, speakers talking to coaches, all the same. Like speakers, people want to speak, coach, impact the world, everybody together, like hanging out. And also reminds me, Fernando, of a very funny moment in the movie, 2 different movies, Rounders, which was a poker movie, as well as The Color of Money, which is a pool movie, where both of those movies, like the professional card players are all playing with the professional card players and just like taking each other's money, right, in gambling. And in the pool movie, like all these like pool hustlers were all together playing pool with each other. And the reason I share that is because there's an insular nature to things. And in both of those situations, what they really want to be doing was meeting new people and playing with new people with their skill sets and winning, right? In this space, you know, even, and I mentioned this to Erica, did a beautiful Real Raw Open. So proud of her, fantastic job. But in terms of advancing her primary business, that Real Raw Open did, to me, Erica's effort in it, 9.99, like going first. The job getting people there, 9.999, right? For her success, for her future success, I would rate it at like a 4 in terms of the people on it. And the other thing that we could do that I would say to everybody, and this is when I'm jumping with Dimple, is there's also a dynamic where it's like we could have something inside of us that is a wanting to prove ourselves to, like a wanting to prove ourselves to. Like I want my daughters to like know what I'm doing and be excited about it. But they're not. They're a lot more excited about like what they're gonna have for dinner, what they're gonna do hanging out with their friends. And it's like, hey, did you hear what happened? They're like, oh, what that? Right? Like they want to go and like talk about everything but like what we're doing with Unblinded. I'm exaggerating just a hair, but it's not exciting to them. Like they want to talk about the beach house and what we're gonna do in terms of painting, right? Like that stuff, right? So it could be the same with your friends, your family, your current business colleagues, that as you rise, it's a lot of effort to change your identity with these people. To have them go, oh my God, I get it. This is who Fernando is now. Holy cow, look at his growth. It's unbelievable. Well, he's like still Fernando. What are you talking about? Like he's the dude I used to do like events with and DJ with. You know, like, so if Fernando's going to go back to all the people he was, you know, emceeing with that were DJs and try to be like, this is where I am in the world now. They're going to be like, dude, that's Fernando. What are you talking about? Fernando, does that land for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like go try to convince all those people you should be their business coach. How hard is that going to be?
They're going to look at me. They're going to look at me sideways.
Yeah. But you're Fernando. What are you talking about? Right. So be mindful of both of those. So that said, you know, Dimple beautifully reflexively answered a question this morning. I'm not going to share her answer for her privacy, unless she wants to share. But I said, hey, Dimple, what will be great stages for you? And it was like bang and bang. And what I said, and I forget that what the bang and bang were, irrelevant. What mattered was the ultimate question, which is, Dimple, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to, who's your ideal client? Like your ideal client, right? So Dimple, how are you?
Hey, Sean. Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully, wonderfully. So, and Dimple, I've never asked you this question. Okay.
No.
First of all, Dimple, who are you? For those that are like first time Huddle people, don't know. Well, let me share this. I think this is who Dimple is, and she can fill in the blanks. I think Dimple is as outstanding a relationship coach in person. When I say relationship, intimate, family, human dynamic coach as exists in the face of the earth. And this is her masterful skill set, unbelievable talent. She's done incredible amounts of work in the space and on herself, best-selling author, and is just fully committed to impacting the world at the hugest level. Dimple, is there any other, and a wonderful wife, mom, friend, speaker, anything else, Dimple, you'd like to share about who you are?
God bless you, Sean. No, that's exactly, yeah, this is my life's work. This is my mission.
Awesome. Okay. So with that said, what is your relationship with math? I don't know the answer.
Yeah, not great. I'm learning more and more about numbers as I realize the value going through the mastery program.
Yes. Okay. So the reason I say that is because, you know, we had Fred Pinto on the other day. Mm-hmm. There's extreme, like, there's excitement to be like, I get it. I'm in, I'm going, right? Mm. And it could blind us to certain things. So all I want to speak to you, Dimple, is this simply. You only have so many ecosystems you have time to merge with until you expand and scale the numbers of people working with you. Me too, all of us, right? There's a limit right now, time-wise. There's a limit to how many speaking engagements you can do for free. right?
Mhm.
There's still a limit for how many you can do paid, right? Because time limits. There's economic limits and time limits. Both are both are numbers games. There's a number of sales meetings you can have, which would be sessions you're willing to do for free
Yeah.
and or paid initially, right? Then there's the program that you have, the work you do.
Yeah.
So what I am cautioning everybody to is the very beautiful question that people have arisen with, which is like, I don't have time. I don't know if I have time for this. That's a great reflexive reaction, a question, the math of time. But to answer it, what one must answer is, what is the optimal use of time? So to me, you start kind of at the end in mind, which is, hey, how much money would you like to make in the next year? Not asking you that, right? But how many clients do you need to do it? And you can like innovate off of like how you work with people.
Yeah.
And what the question for that is though, how many sales meetings do I need to have? And with whom? And what gets interesting and then before that is how many stages of microphones, aka speaking engagements, and how many ecosystems do you merge with? What I am super clear about, Dimple, we've both been to Date with Destiny, and we've both done vision boards, right?
Yes.
I'm going to hallucinate that your vision board, which is amazing to have, but like to get to the vision, there's like math.
Yeah.
And did your vision board have numbers on it? And did it describe your ideal client?
No.
Mine did not either, right?
No.
So what we're really doing is we're creating a mapping, a vision board, a journaling plan of who these optimal people are. And Dimple is so smart, so on top of things, so incredible. So my question for you, Dimple, is name the professions, please, for people, just for fun, that would be the optimal professions that you would think would fit the demographic you're looking for. And the reason I say it this way, everybody, is I think we can go, I want to work with open-minded, beautiful, wonderful people who are growth-oriented. Yes. But for a lot of us, they also have to have a certain amount of money. If they don't have a certain amount of money, they can't be our client.
Yes.
Right? So, and we're going to contribute and offer things to the world on one hand. On another hand, though, we need to make money. So Dimple, what's present for you? And then maybe we could move into that, answering that question.
Yeah. So what's present for me, Sean, is that my ideal client absolutely is super successful in their chosen field. So that could be, I mean, it's usually entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, and that could be in any field. So, and as you unblinded me to this morning, that includes lawyers, doctors, accountants, professionals, as well as entrepreneurs, successful business people. So it's the whole range.
Yeah. And now for everybody, remember, the way that we meet people influences and impacts who they see us as. Like who they see us as. So it's one thing if Dimple encounters somebody in a room full of people, and it is different if Dimple encounters those same people on stage or on camera with the microphone.
Yeah.
Because that creates the established reality. It gives you the attention and gives you, at least until we lose it if we make a mistake, the presumption of competence, at least initially, right? So for you, Dimple, as you think about ecosystem merging, you think about building out your 10, which you're doing so amazingly, and your 100, and this is for everybody. I cannot share deeply and passionately enough to think of these ecosystems. And the most, I call it the professional space, is so underrepresented in how people are thinking about, to me,
Yes.
their ecosystem merging 10 by 10. You said yes, but please go ahead. Tell me what's coming up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hadn't appreciated the professional space. And when building my 10 by 10, I have been guilty of going with what is familiar to me. And what's familiar to me is thinking about others first. I'm just reflecting, Sean. I'm giggling at myself because I'm just processing in the last sort of 5 minutes of what went on the mastery meeting, and then this one. What's present to me is that while building my 10 by 10, my focus was so much on how I can navigate that 10 by 10 to help each other, that I had missed myself out. And also I wasn't, so by that I mean, just to clarify, I hadn't focused on how I would leverage the 10 by 10 for my growth.
Yeah.
And so reflecting on who I have in my 10 by 10, they all will serve each other and me to some degree, but not to the optimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's,
So
and the professional groups I'd completely overlooked.
So, but here's what's beautiful. You're part of a 10.
Yes.
Jan Hargrave is unbelievably respected. And I spoke to others about this morning. So that's a person for you to create an incredible relationship with, that has access and is desired in the professional space. So watch this thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
So in speaking with and creating perhaps a joint presentation, bring to professional organizations, right? That would fit the demographic for your client base.
Yeah.
Jan Hargrave could be an extraordinary asset for you. And your organizational dynamics and urgency, skill set, talent, and uniqueness in the relationship space could be an incredible asset for her. Just as an example, like it doesn't have to be that.
Sean, may I interrupt you? We just had that conversation 3 days ago with Jan and myself. It's like you're reading, but we did, and to be fair, what you just gifted me was the next step with Jan. We weren't sure on how we were going to move forward, so I value and appreciate what you just gifted me. Was a whole different access point, so thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Callaghy, if you can take us home with our final 5 as you finish this thought, please.
Yes. Okay. Ready? So for everybody, this is why you need to be here every day, because, or as consistently as you possibly can, and listen to it in recording if you're not here, because Dimple is brilliant. Dimple is aware. Dimple is listening. Dimple is accelerating, right? And micro distinctions could be the difference between Dimple having, a $1 million return, or a $5 million return, or a $300,000 return, or $10 million return. Said one more way, what does it look like if Dimple is partnering with professional associations in different regions of different countries, eventually different countries, to provide free content to groupings of people that would fit her client demographic, and she's completely overwhelmed by the client number she has, and then that enables Dimple to create certification programs for others that are legitimately qualified, and most importantly, provide what nobody provides, which is the access to mass numbers of clients potentially. Because you've built these ecosystem mergers where you're providing free value, which is exactly what we're doing with the Huddle every day. And then all of a sudden you have ecosystem merger potential in all these different directions. So and that's not the end of the conversation. We're now speaking to the people who are in the 9s. This is the 9s of the conversation today, meaning you're at a 9+ level of mastery like Dimple is. So Dimple, any, as we wrap, what that makes sense value for you? Like, how would you rate the value for you of this interaction today?
I would rate it at 1,000,000%, because the micro distinctions that you have gifted me mean exactly that. The numbers will change. The difference in the potential earning and impact is exponential because of the micro distinctions that you gifted me today. So I'm truly grateful, and always a humble student, always open to learning. So
Mr.
thank you.
Callaghan and Dimple, thank you for those words. Your voice is always angelic. I felt a little extra Zeusy today when you jumped on, and my 5D listening was in like, ooh, she's processing something good. So thank you for sharing. That was a beautiful share.
God bless you, Fernando. Thank you.
Want to give a couple shout outs. A big shout out. We have Team Badassery in the chat. Phoenix Marcone, moving and grooving, asking what members of his 10 are going to be on the Real Raw Open. For everyone, the link you're sharing, and thank you, Lorelei, for sharing that link on our website. That was where we were sharing it. If everyone could please go to our Unblinded our Unblinded business page, Unblinded business page, you'll be able to see the Real Raws there. And here's like a question. Here's like a thought. Imagine if we shared on our streams, right? We shared on our Facebook page. We shared the live from the Unblinded business page. Whoever we wanted to invite is now watching and viewing. One click equals exponential share, identity, curiosity, questioning. So if everyone could go to our Unblinded business page on Facebook, share it to like your Facebook page. So whoever you want to invite as your Real Raw Open, whoever you're looking to draft as your 10, could begin the exposure of the beautiful thing we have here. So Sean, back to you for final.
Yeah. For anybody who's in a 0 to 5 category, I want to acknowledge Jim Kirkos, the leader who embodies everything that a Chamber of Commerce should be. And, Jim, in the beginning, like all of us, didn't see what he didn't see. And so it was difficult to have a conversation with Jim. Now the conversations we're having with Jim are how to bring the formula for the growth, sustainability, and acceleration of his chamber that he leads and has for such a long time into other chambers, to move through the distinctions of networking into ecosystem merging. And this is a person who's seen it all, heard it all, done it all. So if you're in a 0 to 5 category, I get it. This is like, this thing. No, it's not. Love you, but no, it's not. And, just see Jim Kirkos and his genius for how clearly it's not. If you're in that mid category, 5.1 up to 8.9, where you like really are like, yeah, I know, I get it. I'm doing it, right? There's so much here to not miss, that you know enough that you could be a danger to yourself and end up wasting time, and then end up in a space like we just spoke with Dimple about, which is like, I'm doing it. And eventually getting to a place where you go, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm not getting the value. You have to get the value for you. You have to, in the 6 things that we count. Okay, Fernando, any final thought? And I'll take us home.
Yes, I'm proclaiming that we're going to have Mr. Kirkos on this huddle with us sometime this week, not specifying a day. We're going to make sure we have him on here and we have that conversation. And for Liba, when you're asking, what is that like 0 to 5 or 4.9, what is 5 to 8.9, and what is 9 and above? That is our scale of mastery. So depending on where you are on the scale of mastery, Sean, as you want to add a little flavor to that as you take us home.
Yes.
Back
so
to you.
What I'm referring to is that I'm categorizing this in 3 levels of your marketing process mastery on scale of mastery, and as you relate to the 10 by 10. So that's like a subset of marketing process mastery, right? It's the actualization of. 0 to 5 is respectfully, you're blind in the unblinded. You're not unblinded. You're like, oh, what's this, like some like networking thing? Okay, they're like building a funnel for like sales training. Is this like some like MLM? Like, no, like lovingly, empathetically, no, you're not listening, or you're new. It's okay, right? Stay for a month and then see what you think, right? It's not that. And that's why some of the most remarkable people in the world are now talking to us about partnering. because of what they're seeing. But in the beginning, it's like that. Oh, I know what this is. Like it's another like thing like this. Wrong. So if you're in that category, I speak to you briefly on each huddle to help you move to the next category. The next category is a 5.1 to an 8.9, which means like you get that there's like really cool, unique things here, but potentially you're in knowingness. And so you're like not hearing the distinctions because you're like, yeah, you know, I get it. I'm taking action, like building my thing. It's like amazing. And you're like not studying and listening on the huddle. Like you're listening through a prism of what you know versus what you don't. And if you're at a 9 plus, like a 9 to 9.999, you're in a space of you get it. You get it. You get what this is. You get mastery. You get exponential acceleration through micro distinctions, and you're listening deeply. You're accelerating massively like Dimple just was. Dimple's in the 9s. So she's listening for like what she doesn't know yet for the next micro distinction, next small vertical innovation, small change to equal very large impact, which is what she's tracking for so beautifully. With that said, it is Mastery Monday, Ecosystem Merger Monday. I am not present to the reality of what's happening in the world. We'll speak more about it tomorrow, but here's the key. Whatever we want to fix, we can fix in the space of vertical innovation and or horizontal innovation. Horizontal innovation could be like, hey, let's like abolish countries. Like that would be a horizontal innovation. Hey, like a horizontal innovation is like my uncle was killed in a car accident, so let's never drive cars ever again because they're just too dangerous. Hey, there's a shark attack, and there was one 104 years ago in Long Beach Island, 104 years ago, that killed somebody that like was the inspiration for Jaws. So let's never go in the ocean again. I am not equating systemic, unchanged racism, gender bias, ethnic diversity, nor am I limiting it to those categories because other, according to Malcolm Gladwell, who happens to be half African-American, actually Jamaican-American, his heritage, would say that like other equals problem. We discern and look at people differently. Clearly, police and African-Americanness, there's other dynamics that are extraordinary and put life at risk, and somebody was murdered because of it, you know, Mr. Floyd. The question is what to do with it. A lightning bolt in place, disruption, like listening open, marches on the causeway of Long Beach Island, New Jersey. Amazing. Listening is open. Now what? Because the danger zone is here. Because what usually happens is we have something like this occur that is in either oversimplification and does nothing, but we feel better, or is a crazy hard, it's either a vertical innovation that's meaningless or a horizontal innovation that is like insanely disruptive and creates 900 other unanticipated problems, but everybody feels better because we've torn something down, right? My prayer, my hope for all is that we stay in the space of this privilege window and we create ecologically viable, sustainable, like ecosystem merge solutions that are truly unblinded and successful and meaningful for freedom, for balance, for integrity, for safety, for security, for abundance and love. Like that's my prayer. And that is definitely not what I'm hearing predominantly in the messaging when I turn on the news for 5 minutes, but I hope we could spread that message and get there. And it is not an oversimplification. We've got a lot of work to do. Have a beautiful day. Thanks.